We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And get these mics adjusted. Welcome to the Mission Grove Neighborhood Association meeting. This is our last meeting of the year. We started in April. We've grown rapidly. Got almost 400 people now on our email list. So we're doing very well. And we encourage you to get more people to sign up so that we can keep them notified as to what's going on, what's happening with the city, the county, the state, anything that affects us here in Mission Grove. Here's the Mission Grove map for those of you that might not be familiar with Mission Grove, but we're letting anybody come in the surrounding areas that wishes to attend our meetings. We don't hold anybody out. Anybody within the city of Riverside that wishes to attend is welcome to. Our sponsors, Canyon Crest, we need to thank them. They don't charge us for the room, so by you partaking in the meals and buying meals helps us to pay for the facility. So we encourage you to do that when you can, is to partake in the buffet dinner that they have, either the light buffet or the full buffet, and also the bars in there for you also. Sign-in sheet, make sure you've signed in. Basically, we're going to respect one another, raise our hands when we want to speak. We'll have mics, and if there's any questions afterwards, you can email us, and then we'll be glad to answer them. Do we have any dignitaries in the audience? Everyone is a dignitary, stand up.
I'm important.
I figured at least 8 or 10 of you would get up for dignitary. At least one from every table, right? All the ladies here at this table, right? Okay, so tonight, our main speaker, we invited the mayoral candidates, which started out with 3, the current mayor and 2 challengers, but one of them, we tried to track him down and couldn't track him down, so we don't think he finalized his paperwork as of last week. So basically we have one challenger to the mayor, Patricia Luff Dawson, who's the current mayor. So tonight we're going to hear from her, and that's Jessica Katawi. She runs a ad agency or a marketing firm here in Riverside. Been here for quite a while. She also has a podcast, What's Up Inland Empire, and she's running for the first time, so be patient with her. This is the first public meeting I think she's had since she officially became a candidate and got sworn in last Friday. So we're going to give her a few minutes to kind of introduce ourselves. We did not meet her before tonight, so we don't know much about her other than what we've researched and looked for on the internet about her. So we'll get introduced to her and see what her platform is and why she's running for mayor. So, Jessica.
Go, Jessica.
All right, he's right. This is my first time speaking in front of a group as the mayor candidate. So thank you so much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. Okay, so good evening. First, I would like to thank the Mission Grove Neighborhood Association for inviting me here tonight to share my vision for the city of Riverside. My name is Jessica Katawi, and I'm running for mayor of Riverside. I'm very excited for this opportunity to bring innovation and change to our city. I would like to start with a quick background and history of myself. So you guys don't have to go look on Facebook or the internet. I was born in Orange County and first moved to Riverside when I was 4 years old and have lived here at various times throughout my childhood. My parents were entrepreneurs that came from the Middle East. I am fluent in Spanish, Arabic, and of course, English. I was very fortunate to experience my parents' hardworking ethic at a young age, which allowed me to grow into who I am today, a successful businesswoman with lots of passion, drive, and heart. Due to unfortunate circumstances, I had to go out in the world on my own at the age of 17 years old. This taught me how to never give up, stay strong, and to always stand up for what's right. My limited resources did not stop me from finding a way to go to school, get educated, and I even started my first business in 2005 at the age of 23. Everything that I have acquired in my life has been from my passion, hard work, and commitment to success. I have a successful job history from my jobs at 99.1 KGGI, COLA 99.9, and I also worked at KCAL 96.7. In 2016, I left my radio career to start NB Media LLC, which is currently located in downtown Riverside. With my solution-oriented thinking and innovative mindset, I started the first social media marketing company in the Inland Empire. At one point, I also owned the Canyon Crest Winery. Who's ever been there? Yeah? Okay, awesome, yeah. So I was an owner for a little bit. My main priority has always been NB Media, which has helped many small businesses throughout the Riverside area. As a local small business owner, I understand the struggles of doing business in Riverside, something I definitely want to tackle as mayor. As a business owner, anybody here own a local business? Yes? A lot of pushback. Do you feel that sometimes? Like there's just, some pushback. And I want to work on that. I want it to be a little bit easier for us to start a business out here. I have been a public figure with my live videos highlighting local businesses since 2013 in Riverside. My innovative thinking has allowed me to prosper in the advertising and entrepreneur world. The thing that brings me most joy in this world is giving back. I have volunteered locally and worldwide to help those less fortunate. I also currently have a podcast called What's Up Inland Empire that interviews local nonprofits that provide resources for the community. Plus, I bring on local businesses and local leaders. Any nonprofits that I interview with information that can help the people of the IE, my company, NB Media, covers the cost to have them on the show. We currently do not have any paid sponsors. So I personally fund that. My company personally funds helping the community. You might watch the podcast, you can watch it on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music, and think, oh, okay, she must have sponsors, because most shows do, right? But I don't. My company sponsors it because I do want to always give back, and that was one of my ideas and thoughts when I started my company, that, okay, if I'm going to start this company, it's got to make a difference. It's got to, make a change and help people. My goal has always been to make a difference since I was a child. I want to be the mayor of Riverside because I see lots of potential to better our city. I have recently seen our city experience a decline. Riverside used to be a city where people thrived. Now you tend to see more families struggling, family-owned businesses going out of business, and my goal is to turn this around. First, we need to discuss the unhomed issue. On ABC News, Riverside was listed as a city dealing with high numbers of unhomed people, and it has increased by 12% in the past year. We need to evaluate all the funding we have for this issue because we are granted millions of dollars a year, but why are we not seeing a difference? These are questions I will ask as mayor and work towards ensuring the people of Riverside see results. In addition, I have heard from many sources that surrounding cities are dropping off the unhomed here. Were you guys aware about that?
Yes.
Like literally, like they're just dropping them off in our city, like nothing. When did we become the unhomed capital? We need to fix this immediately. As mayor, I will make it a high priority to focus on this issue. I have come up with a plan that could potentially remove many unhomed people off the street and bring additional revenue from outside cities. We need a solution right away regarding the unhomed being dropped off by other cities. I've discussed my idea with a variety of people and they agree it is innovative and would bring additional revenues to our city. Now we need the votes to make it happen. I know you're probably thinking, what is this plan? Let's just call it the homeless hub for now. I only have 5 minutes to speak and I'll probably go over my time because I have so much I want to share with you. I know the city needs business-minded leadership, as well as someone that truly cares for the people. We need change. I am that change. We need someone that knows how to bring in revenue into our city without constantly putting the burden on the residents when it needs more funding. For example, our utilities have nearly doubled in the past year. This affects our residents. financially, and the state of mind when it becomes more difficult to care for their families with inflation and higher cost of living. I care about the people and the families in our city, and I will, if given the opportunity, make common sense changes that can easily be implemented to better the quality of living for our fellow Riverside citizens. This is especially important for our seniors living on a fixed income, and they continue to see the cost of living rise. Community is where the change starts. So has anybody ever been to the Knitters Hideout? Does anybody know the Knitters Hideout? So it's on Sunnyside. It's right by the plaza. And I love to knit. So I've made, friends, and they're all seniors there, and they always tell me about, the struggles that they're going through with, the cost, or just, cost of their homes going up. And, I think that's a very important issue that we need to seriously look at. Who's been to Fairmount Park? Okay. Fairmount Park is currently housing many unhomed individuals, and they roam the park, which turns off people from visiting it. Fairmount Park was once a beautiful place. As a child, my dad would take me to Fairmount Park and we would go fishing and barbecue. I even remember catching fish and eating them. I don't think anyone would want to eat a fish from that lake today, right? No. What a beautiful park that we have here in Riverside going to waste. Many other cities have parks like Fairmount Park that brings them substantial revenue. Why are we not doing the same? My goal is not to take money from the residents when the city needs more funding, but to bring money in utilizing some of the beautiful places we have in Riverside. We want people from other cities spending their money in our city. It will help small businesses grow, bring more job opportunities, and increase revenue for our city. It's a win-win for everyone if implemented. I am passionate, innovative, and a hardworking individual that will bring it all if I'm elected as the mayor of Riverside. I have many solid ideas and the dedication to make them happen. All I need is your support and your vote on March 5th, 2024. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Jessica?
Yes.
What endorsements have you been able to secure so far in your campaign?
So I'm actually not focusing on getting endorsements because I don't want anybody to own me. I don't want to have, my plan is to not have, most politicians I've noticed come in with an agenda because they're getting money from somebody and then they have to do whatever they want. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm a little bit different. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm not your typical, politician, I guess. This is my first time in politics, but I have the determination to make change. I've done it for my business, and I want to change Riverside. I want to make it better. I want to bring it back to life. Yes, sir.
Let's say you're elected as a new mayor, who obviously has not had a history in politics. What or how do you think you'll be able to either influence or handle or control the city council, who has a whole lot of what I would call issues that they are obligated to their contributors to carry through? In other words, how are you going to make them pay attention to you as the new kid on the block?
Well, I plan on befriending all of the city council, making friends with them, right? Getting to know them and working with them. And obviously, as a mayor, and I'm sure you all know, the mayor can't, the only thing that I can do is veto. So if I see something is wrong, I will veto it. I'm not afraid. I know that there was an instance where somebody was sued by the city, and I don't care. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And if I see something happening that is not right and it's going to hurt, which I would say my people of Riverside, I'm going to take care of you guys. So no, I'm very strong. I've been on my own for a long time, and nothing scares me. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight for my people.
Have you had an opportunity to study the city charter? And those responsibilities or abilities the mayor would end up having. I read it and studied it. Seems that there's a number of restrictions. Can you address that?
Yes, so when it comes to voting, the mayor doesn't really have a voice unless she or he steps up and vetoes. So I do know that. I know it's, coming in as mayor, it's not gonna be easy, especially with the type of change that I wanna make. But I am willing to put the time and the effort that I can, because I do believe in numbers we're stronger. So if we all come together and the mayor and tell city council, no, we gotta change this, we're gonna make change. And so, yeah. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot. I've never been in politics before. This is new to me. But my heart is here 110%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Oh, do you want to go to the microphone?
Would you support additional police officers?
Absolutely. I believe that we need to reduce the crime that's happening in Riverside. Let me tell you, I live on a spot that there is probably an accident every 2 months. And so the other day, one of my neighbors was having a yard sale, so I went over, to chat with her. And while we were chatting, an accident happened. So on Alessandro, how it gets pretty crazy, like where the intersection, all the streets change? And there was an accident. And I ran over, because that's the type of person I am, I ran over to check on them. And they called for the police, and they said somebody was injured. First of all, the police didn't show up for about 20-25 minutes, and an ambulance never showed up. So, yeah. And so, what bothered me is that somebody needed help in our city, and we did not provide it, and I don't think that's okay. So that actually, I sat there and spoke to one of the police officers, and I started asking him, what happened? Why did you guys take so long? And he told me, well, we don't have enough funding. So one of my ideas is to evaluate, what are they funding? Where's the money going? We need more officers. And if it's an issue with finding people that want to, be a police officer, then we'll figure it out that, when there's a will, there's a way, right? Yeah.
Any other questions for Jessica? Yep.
My question is, why are you running for mayor versus city council since you've not been in politics before? Why are you choosing to run for mayor before, if you'll pardon the expression, you come up through the ranks?
Well, I have a lot of faith, and I believe in God, and I believe that He put it in my heart to run. And initially, I was going to run for city council. I was going to run, but then I found out that my home was in an area that was redistricted. And I wasn't going to get to run until 2026. And it was in my heart, and I said, no, well, what can I do? What can I do? And one of my friends said, well, you could run for mayor. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And if this, and I feel like if the people of the city want change, then they will vote for me. And you will know my heart, and that's why I want to come out and speak at any events that I can and get to know everybody. And I'm an open book, so yeah, that's kind of how it happened. You're welcome.
Yeah, wards 1, 3, 5, and 7 are up next year, and then the even ones are in 2026, 2, 4, and 6. So our group is split in two right now. We're in both wards 2 and 4, so we will be electing our own 2 city council members in 2026. Because we have enough votes within our area to basically challenge anyone. It usually only takes about 2,500 to 3,500 votes to win an election for city council. Most people don't pay much attention to it, unfortunately. Out of 30,000 eligible voters in each ward. Turnout's not very good.
And I wanted to also, Jacqueline, come here. Show everybody your shirt. So I own an advertising agency, right? So, we come up with marketing strategies. There you go, thank you for modeling. So as you can see on the shirt, what does it say? It says vote. Because a lot of people don't vote and they don't take it seriously. But then when we've got city council or somebody making a decision about our lives and how we have to live, then we get upset. But we got to get upset now before it happens, right? And we gotta vote. We gotta say, no, I'm not gonna let this happen. And so part of, my marketing campaign is just to get people to vote. So, if I win, that'd be amazing because I want to make a difference and I want to, bring change. But if I don't, I hope that at least I will have, the opportunity to open people's eyes, to open people's hearts, and to get people to vote and get the younger generation to vote. And that's another thing that I want to focus on.
Great. Any other questions for Jessica? Well, great, Jessica. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so like I said, we only have 2 candidates for mayor this year. We've got Jessica and the incumbent, so you know what the choices are that are out there. The mayor's job, those of you that have read the city charter, the mayor does not have the type of powers that people might think. The mayor is pretty restricted on what they can do. They can veto things that the city council does. They can vote only if there's a tie where there happens to be 6 members and they need a vote in order to break a tie. But the mayor can't fire any employee. They can't even ask an employee to do anything without going through whoever their manager is, which would be the city manager, or the city clerk, or the city attorney. Those are the only 3 that are appointed and put into position by the city council.
You have a staff, though.
What's that?
You have a staff.
Yep, oh yeah, the mayor has a staff. She's got 6 people full-time and 5 interns, 11 people that work for the mayor. So, and any of you that want to, tomorrow morning, the mayor will be down having another coffee at 8:30 in the morning in Ward 2, which a number of us are now in, at Iowa and University. So you can go down there and meet with her at the former Sizzler. It's behind the Starbucks right on the corner there.
Zacatecas.
Yeah.
Zacatecas, Mexican.
So she'll be there at 8:30. So Brian and I are going to try to go. We invite as many of you to come that you can to talk to the mayor and figure out what's going on. One of the questions I have is, why did you sign that agreement to spend $2.5 million on autonomous driving and invest in a company to have them move here? So some of the updates that we've got, Sycamore Hills warehouses are starting to go in. If you noticed on Alessandro, they've been grading right down in Alessandro to start putting in the warehouse that they approved. We have noticed coyotes running down Alessandro, interrupted their habitat with all the tractors and so on, but that's starting to go. Michael is here from R-Now with the warehouses, the EIR. Michael, you want to say a couple of words about the about what's going on with the environmental impact report?
Sure, so Mike from R now. We are a group that's in Orange Crest and Mystic Grove. They're opposing the West Campus Upper Plateau warehouses, or what we call the Grove warehouses. Is everybody aware of that? Anybody that's not aware of that, raise your hand. Everybody's heard about it. Okay, great. So the process has been that the EIR came out in January, and we commented on that through March. They have now recirculated the EIR, which means they are putting out sections of the draft EIR that they had to totally rewrite because we kicked their butt and made them, showed them all the things they were doing wrong. And so they've resubmitted 4 sections on air quality, hazards and hazardous materials, land use and planning, and that's primarily based on a new environmental justice element, which they are adding to their general plan. So environmental justice is basically ensuring that the community has meaningful involvement and that no community is disproportionately burdened by pollution. And the Marsh JPA planning area is an environmental justice census tract from the 98th percentile for Cal and ViroScreen. And that's mostly because of the Westmont Village community and the Green Acres community that lives in the Bay. So those 2 communities are poorer, older, more vulnerable to pollution than most of the communities around here. So that comment period goes through, I believe, January 30th. If you are interested in signing up for our mailing list, we need as many people to email in on that as possible. If you're interested in that, just see me after the meeting. Additionally, there's an environmental justice workshop that's happening December 19th at the Air Force Museum. And if you're interested in learning more about that, that starts at 6:30, December 19th, where they're going to be talking about their new environmental justice element. And so if you want to give comments to the JPA saying what they should and should not be doing, that is the place to do it, to give them feedback. If they get a whole bunch of comments from the community, then they have to adjust their environmental justice element, which means they'll have to recirculate the EIR again, which will delay them for another 5-6 months. And at this point, they've only got 16 months or 18 months of existence left before they turn into the county, because the county is going to inherit that land use authority in July of 2025. So part of the game right now is delaying as long as possible, because then it makes it a lot more complicated for them. We don't want them to entitle the land in the next 18 months, and that's really what we're fighting against right now. So I think that's all the comments I had for now. If you have any questions, let me know. I guess I'll wait until afterwards. So.
Great, thank you, Michael. And we're following, Michael's done a great job with the EIR originally, getting people to look at certain sections and help out with that. And so we're looking forward to following kind of that plan when our EIR comes out on the Kmart Apartments, which is now delayed until the end of January, from what I've been told. So we're looking for that. So ballot harvesting and voting integrity. We plan on doing ballot harvesting. We're going to have a voting box here in February so that people can bring their ballots in. I don't know if I would trust the mail. My son had a letter mailed to him in September, and he finally received it this last week. So if you mailed your ballot in and it didn't come in for 3 months, one of my questions to the registrar of voters would be, how many ballots actually come in after the deadline that you never count or whatever, and they might or might not have been mailed on time. Voting integrity, we've been working with a group that has been challenging the voting integrity in Riverside, and they've done a lot of work on the statistics, things like saying, well, you reported that you received 22,000 ballots that came in from the post office, but yet you claim to have counted 37,000. So how did they end up multiplying from 22 to 37,000, and you counted many more ballots than you actually claimed that you received? So things like that. We've had one meeting with the supervisors, with Kevin Jeffries about it. We plan on additional meetings. So that's moving forward to try to change the way the voting is done within the county. There's a lot of questions and issues with those voting machines. I've done a lot of software development and so on, and just if you look at the contract for those voting machines, I don't know why anyone would sign it. Because you basically have no rights to the software intellectual property, you have no rights to knowing how it's going to work, and they can show up anytime they want to and update the software, and they've done it just prior to an election. So the first thing that I think about is the old Volkswagen scam. Remember that? Where Volkswagen was telling the computers in their cars to where the car knew when it was being smogged, because it gets put on the rollers and it's not rolling on the road. So when you're put on the rollers at the smog station, then the computer altered the requirements for the engine so that it passed smog, and then as soon as you pulled out, it went back to the way they were. And so I'm thinking, since these voting machines are dated, right, they all have a date on them, every computer does, it'd be very easy to set up the software that says, well, work normally when all the testing goes on, but after this date, when I know you're going to be counting real ballots, then I want you to change the logarithm to do this and start counting the ballots this way. So it could be easily done, and there's no way to know whether it's not or not. Yeah.
Just to give you the exact numbers for the vote, the machines tabulated 24,894 people voting in person, but the Riverside elected board counted 4,347. So there's 19,000 extra votes, but no one seems to know where they came from. The post office says they received 216,877 votes. By the time the truck pulled up to the Riverside Registrar's office, there was 252,661 votes. So somehow they gained 35,000 votes. Each ballot is 2 ounces, so we're talking thousands of pounds of ballots. They don't just drop out of the air. But those were the numbers that the supervisors were looking at.
The only time things like that multiply is when you put them in the overhead bin in the airplane. By the time you reach your destination, you have to be careful when you open it because they could have multiplied. So maybe that's what they did with the ballots, I don't know. So, did you all see the new sign, the banner sign on the EMD? That looks pretty fantastic, doesn't it? It looks, once the sun hit it and took the wrinkles out, it looked like it was painted. So we'll continue to use that and put it up a week or so before our meetings. City neighborhood engagement, we're going to be applying for some grants since we're an official community with the city group. We're going to try to get some grants to pay for some of our costs and expenses. Programs and meetings we've attended recently. Brian and I graduated from the Citizens Police Academy that we went to for 11 weeks. And we're going to bring some of them in here in some of our meetings during the next year to explain kind of what they do, bring the dogs in and other stuff to show how they work. So we're going to need volunteers to be attacked by the dogs. Yeah.
Real quick, Police Academy, remember, hear me? Can you hear me?
You need a mic.
Talk louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's your
He
mic?
needs the mic.
They don't let me have a mic. On the Police Academy, it's an 11-week course, and they limit it to about 40 people. So they're going to open up to the public the second or third week of January. Because we went to the course, we're allowed to send in names, and those people will have first dibs. So if you're interested, let us know. Yeah, let us know, and we'll put your name in. Assuming you can pass the background check. I mean, they never found my felonies. But I was never convicted. But yeah, they do a background check. It's a great course, 11 weeks. And I gotta tell you, I mean, you can all tell, they feed you really well. Every Thursday night, there's a dinner. And it's a good dinner. So, but yeah, just send me an email saying you'd like to do the police course, and I will add your name to it.
After you graduate from the police course, what do they assign you to do? Anything or?
Well, it's,
We get to be mock criminals.
yeah, I mean, it's like any city program. It looks good on paper, and then as soon as you go through that, there's not a lot of follow through.
It allows us to be volunteers now, and we qualify for that. So we have applied to be volunteers, and we're going through that process now.
But yeah, I mean, we're allowed to go on ride-alongs now. We're allowed to sit with the dispatchers at 911.
Maybe you can monitor trucks coming down Alexander.
Yeah, we brought that up to the chief, saying now, you know, we don't mind sitting there taking pictures.
We told them we want a bunch of those tax strips we can put across the road.
But yeah, I mean, once you go through it, then you're allowed to volunteer, which again, you have to go get fingerprinted and do all that. But yeah, you can do ride-alongs. I'm hoping for a helicopter ride, but we'll see. So, but again, just send an email to the Mission Grove saying you'd like to take the course. It's 11 weeks. You're only allowed to miss 2 classes if you tell them beforehand that you're missing them because you're traveling or somebody got sick or whatever. Otherwise, they kick you out.
We also completed the CERT class, and we're going to send out an email asking if anyone wants to attend the CERT class. We're going to hold our own. That's the class to train you on an emergency and so on. So they got the bleeding thing and all the stuff, how to save people, and it's a great class. We did it over a weekend, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday all day. So if we can get enough people, 20 people or so, we can hold our own class and all get qualified, because we want us to set up our own CERT group here in the neighborhood and be ready when there's a disaster that happens, so that we can be all prepared and have all the materials and everything for it. FEMA backs it, so we can get some help from FEMA. They're the ones that are pushing these courses. They're free, so we're going to send out an invite for that.
And we already have 4 people signed up, so.
We went to the Your Money, Your Voice budget programs. There was 7 of them. We know that Jessica went to one. They were a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. They had 7 meetings around the city in the different wards. They had about maybe 140 people total with the 7 meetings out of 220,000 adults in the city. They didn't post any of the stuff prior to so that you could look at it before you got there. That was one of their questions. And then they really didn't want to take questions when you were there. One of the questions I had is they went over the budget for everything, the police department, fire department, general costs. And I said, what happened to the 95 million you got in COVID money from the feds? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. So they didn't know what happened with that money. It went somewhere. But they're spending money like crazy. They spent $2.5 million on this investment in the autonomous car company to get them to come here from New Zealand. And when they signed the agreement, they had to write them a check for $700,000 right away. I went on and said, why don't you wait until they sell 10 or 15 of these before we go buying any of them? So they did that. They're going to spend $2.2 million on pickleball courts. Become very popular, so we've got to have pickleball. So we're spending money on that. We're spending money on a lawsuit starting at $236,000, I think, for an outside attorney, because the city decided to deny the use of the convention center by a couple of congressmen that wanted to have a rally, and they basically 24 hours before the rally, they told them they couldn't have it.
Was that based on party?
It was, I assume, yes, because of some of the comments of the city council members, I assume it was based on the party that was having it. Anyway, now there's a lawsuit, and they've started with $236,000, which my guess is will end up near $1 million by the time it's done. So they're spending a lot of money. So we went to the NBT meeting where Clarissa Cervantes spoke. She will be our representative in Ward 2 if she loses the election, because she's still in office until 2026. So we got to meet with her and got introduced to her. City council activity that's happened recently. You know that the city council passed the cannabis thing in order to put in 14 cannabis or marijuana stores within the city. They didn't come to the voters to get that approval, but they are coming to the voters for us to decide whether they can tax these businesses on their gross income up to 10% and put the money in the general fund. So they're not asking us if they should do it, they're asking if they can tax it. So the autonomous card thing I mentioned, just yesterday, they've been working for quite a while to adjust the rules and regulations of how the city council works and all the details. And one of the things that the city staff came up with is they said, well, you know, before COVID, we weren't doing the audio and video recordings and Zoom meetings of all the boards and commissions. We started doing it during COVID. And so we'd like to cut a bunch of that out now and cut out 8 or 9 of the boards and commissions that we don't want to do. So we're like, wait a minute, how are people supposed to know what's going on or be able to zoom into a meeting? They're going to have to now drive down to City Hall, and you want to keep people from driving a lot, but yet you want them to drive. So that's something that they are considering. It sounded like most of the city council members were against it, but who knows? They were going to save all of $44,000 a year by not using video and audio for these 8 or 9 committees.
And one of the committees that weren't going to video or tape was the ethics committee.
Yeah. We can't have ethics showing up, right?
And it should be known, most of those committees and boards do meet early afternoons. So it's set up to actually be excluded from public view.
So they had other things where they were going to cut money, which kind of baffled me because overall they were going to save, I don't know, $100 and some odd thousand with all these strings. Well, they're going to cut down on the number of city council meetings. Instead of 4 a month, it's going to be 3 a month. And then during holidays, it'll be a little, anyway, that was going to save so much money too. Of course, it doesn't mean the other meetings won't be longer. I figured it out one time. I went, and the city council, when you're on the city council, you're not only part of the city council meetings, but you're assigned to committees. And so between the committees and the city council, I counted it up one month, and you basically have 250 agenda items for the month. And some of those could have 20 documents attached to them. So as a city council member, you're supposed to be familiar with all that stuff and attend 250 agenda items. So I don't know how they plan on. Anyway, the picture up there is of the autonomous vehicles that we're going to buy, 3 of them, of which there's going to be an attendant in these vehicles, even though they drive themselves at 25 miles an hour. And the budget for the attendants is $400,000 a year for 4 people.
Each?
No,
No, not each, no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With the vehicles, autonomous vehicles, what are they for?
What are they going to do with them?
there's 3 routes.
They're going to drive them around.
They have a max.
You know, ask a dumb question.
They have a max speed of 25 miles an hour. There's 3 routes, one in La Sierra, one between Tequesquite and Fairmount Park, and then the third one is a loop, downtown, 4-block loop, because they're restricted to 25 mile an hour max roadways. Now, these aren't even DOT approved yet, I should mention, so, all right.
It's not like they're not.
They're a 16 passenger total, 8 or 9 seated and the rest of them standing. And as Louis said, there's going to be a city employee who will act as a safety driver, for lack of a better term.
So they'll say, look out, we're about to crash.
Yeah, they'll be the ones ducking right before impact. So, yeah.
I've got my airbag, have you got yours?
Yeah, they'll be the ones in the big cushion suits.
So this is to replace the trolley that was in run up and down.
No, but it will not be replacing trolley. This will not cross over, they say, RTA routes, which RTA is currently between 20-25% occupancy. So I find it hard to believe that that's even a conflict anyway. But as Louis mentioned, the big issue with the OMIO deal is the horrible nature of the contract as it was written. It completely protects OMIO, and the city basically bent over for this deal. So that's a problem.
So the other thing, if you read the contract carefully, it says they're not drive-by-wire, so you don't have to put a wire in the asphalt in order for them to work. But they do work off signals of the traffic signals and communication with the traffic signals. So they did say that if that doesn't work right, basically in the contract, then the city's going to have to cough up and fix the traffic signals so that they'll work there. So there could be a lot more expense other than $2.5 million. So, and the $2.5 million is whether you bought 3 of them or whether you leased 3 of them. Either way, you're basically investing money. Yeah.
Listen, I'm a little confused on what part of the market they're filling, because if you have the trolleys, and you have RTA, and you have, okay, so I'll just say it again. So if you have, what part of the market are they fulfilling? I mean, as a businessman, I always look at it from that perspective. But, you know, if you have the RTA, you have the trolleys, you still have Uber and Lyft, you know, so these things are free, maybe, something like that. But the other thing is we have the, what is it for elderly people, the parking, what's the little vans? Yeah, so we have, you know, for people who are, you know, who are handicapped or disabled. I mean, so I'm still a little confused in exactly what part of the market that's fulfilling, you know?
I don't know, we figured it out that they could have bought a lot of Teslas that are electric also, along with the drivers with them, that would have automatic driving too, and use those to cart people around wherever they wanted to go and not have to worry about the traffic signals changing the right way. So, I don't know, we're very proud of this. The part about it that really got me was the lack of due diligence. There was literally no due diligence done by the city on this. All they did when they got up and gave the presentation, they gave a 5-minute presentation about how great it was and how the company was a leader around the world. I looked it up and found an article about 35 to 40 of these autonomous style robo-taxi companies around the world, and they weren't even listed as one of the 40. So I don't know how much of a leader they were. I know their original funding was in 2018. They're a subsidiary of another company that's owned by the same 2 guys. They were funded in 2018 by $20 million from the Chinese. Chinese company put up the $20 million. Yet in the contract, they claim that they've already spent $28 million. So one of my questions was, where did they get the other 8 million if they've already burned through, if they've spent 28 million when they've only got 20? Because I couldn't find anywhere where they've actually sold any. They've got some that are working in certain airports like Kennedy and around the world, but I couldn't really find where they put them out there, but I couldn't find any big bragging where they said, yeah, we sold one or we leased a bunch or something. So I don't know what they intend to do, except I'm envisioning in my nightmares that in 5 years, these will be parked in front of City Hall as monuments. You know, and then people will be able to go in and see what could have been. We could have had these autonomous driving things.
And they could put it in a park. They could
Yeah.
park with those in the middle of it.
Well, I'm figuring they'll use these to replace the little train to take the kids around the park. Anyway, so here's our sign. I took that this afternoon. You can see it's really nice. We're going to take that down each month and then put it back up. The steering committee met this last month and reviewed the meeting time management so that we can get out of here by 8 o'clock in the future. The bylaws and mission statement, we've got a draft. We'll be emailing those out. Lauren has brought in a poster with them posted down by the Christmas tree so you can take a look at it. Lauren, you want to say anything about the bylaws?
My contact information is there if somebody has a comment.
Okay. We talked about the scheduling and speakers and events for next year. We're talking about doing a new member drive contest to get everybody to see how many people they can get to sign up through the website to get emails, because the more people we have, the better. We've done a good job so far, twice where we come to you and sent out the letter to go to city council or whatever. We've had over 50 respond to that each time. We did the one for the RPU for the second electrical line going in. And then we did the one recently about the Kmart, letting the city council and the city staff know that we're here. We want to be notified. We want to be subject to it. And I'll tell you in a minute that that did work out very well. And we're going to go out with a member survey to see what people are looking for next year. Kmart.
Wait, just real quick on that. For those that tried to click on the link and said it didn't work, I'm still baffled why it didn't work. Because 50 people got it to work. And so I'm trying to find some common denominator on why. We had about 10 people that said they had a problem with the email.
Different browser?
Everybody's got different browsers. Everybody, I mean, some people tried it from their phone, some people tried it from laptop. So, if you're one of those people, I'm still working on it.
Right. We have the same problem with our now, just some people's browsers don't work, so we just copy the email and the addresses as a part of the thing below so that people can copy it who have that issue.
Yeah, we're going to start
So
doing that.
that's our solution.
It also, I've got AOL for one of my emails, and when you hit the button for that one, it doesn't keep the formatting. It puts everything in one paragraph. So, but when I go to my other email for Gmail, it keeps the formatting and I can forward it the way it is inside my name. So it's finicky, but we try to do that, but you can just cut and paste it, cut and paste the to, and cut and paste the subject, and cut and paste the body of it, and go ahead and send it forward. Yeah.
I even got a response from Gabby saying, thank you for the email, I will look into this. Gabby.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
The can thing or what?
Brian and I went to an event downtown for the opening of the, what is the name of that?
The mark.
The Mark, which is actually built by Michelle Rubin, who owns the Mission Grove Shopping Center. Her and her dad, before he passed away and so on, they built the Mark downtown, the new apartment complex that's right on the corner.
Across the Fox.
Right across from the Fox, 165 apartments. We went down there, got to see it, and we got to meet her for the first time and talked with her for quite a while about what's going on up here. And it was amazing. It was good timing because we had just sent out those 50 notices to the city council. She said at least 3 city council members had called her about it and said, by the way, that Mission Grove group, you should know, just sent an email to all of us saying they want to know about the Kmart. And you know what she told us her response was? Good. I'm glad they're taking an interest in it. I hope they would. So So we've started dialogue with her, we exchanged numbers, so we're gonna be able to deal with her directly and not have to go through all these rumors to where people are claiming she said this or said that or wanted that and so on and didn't. Because we found that a number of things that we've been told so far have not been true when we asked her about them directly.
Can you get her to come to a meeting?
What's that?
Can you get her to come to?
I think she will. I think she will come to a meeting. But we're gonna keep in contact with her. She's got some other ideas on this Kmart thing. You guys need to know that this is not a done deal. So there's a lot of ideas out there. What's that?
What are her other ideas?
Well, there are other types of makeup and density and so on, commercial and residential, just a lot of things that she's thought about, especially as she's been doing this project downtown, which was a big project, took a number of years because they started it before COVID and then ran into COVID and all this stuff and the cost over it. So she's learned a lot about dealing with the city and all that stuff in it. And so she's a lot more educated now than she was before the park started. But she's got a lot of general ideas about, you know, what she might do, things that she did to try to rent out that place and try to get it sold to someone else and so on. She's got some ideas for some of the other vacant lots that are still there for what to put in to help enhance the community and do stuff. So
On Northrop, by the gas station there, that's gonna be a Panera with the drive-through.
Really? Just drive through or also sit down?
Well, she said it's the first drive-through Panera in, I don't know if it was Riverside or Southern California. And then over by Farmer Boys, she's not building it, but that's gonna be a Starbucks. Because the Starbucks in Mission Grove is almost a half a mile away. Coffee and Red Bull.
you're liable to get serious shakes trying to get from there to there. Gotta have my coffee.
But she's starting to look at developing the two properties by Sprouts and LA Fitness. Because those are the two empty lots. She didn't know. She just says, I'm not gonna leave it empty land, I gotta put something there. But the good news is, we met her, she's not this horrible person that some people have told us. She met us and said, hey, they're not crackpots. They actually can speak English and they're intelligent. So, again, everybody's gonna play everybody, that's the game of politics. But at least we've traded emails. She said if we have questions, send them to her. And I said, if you want to know what the neighbors think, good or bad, send me an email, I'll let you know.
So, anyway, we've established communication with her, which I think is good with this Kmart thing coming up. We're going to stay on top of this. So the subcommittee that we're creating is going to be a subcommittee under the steering committee because there's a lot of work to do. We have asked for the marketing materials and feasibility study from Anton. We have not received it yet. Or even an appraisal or anything on the property. So we're going to have to do some of our own due diligence. And I'm familiar with that process. I used to do it years ago. So we're going to have to treat this very objectively and not emotionally like we want to get into it on, and stick to the facts and what we find that the market says and so on. I even found some articles out there that were talking about why aren't more apartment developers putting in more 3-bedroom apartments? The demands have changed since before COVID, and a lot of these apartment projects that you're seeing coming up now were originally drafted before COVID. And that was a whole different social attitude on stuff. People had to drive to work every day, they weren't working at home, now they're working at home. So the demand now is I want an extra room in order to have my office at home because I work at home 2, 3, 4 days a week. And so I need that private space to go in and do my Zoom meetings and team meetings and so on. So the demographics have changed in the demand on what people need out of apartments. And so that's one of the articles I read. The other one was, why aren't we building more condos? Now, one of the reasons for that I understand is the financing is difficult to get. And I'm not sure if it's the financing for the construction or the takeout loans. Now, I'm very familiar with condos. I worked in the condo industry for 10 years between San Diego and Seattle. And Fannie and Freddie offer lending for condos as long as you meet their requirements, and you do it up front. So it can be done, can be obtained. One of the other big fears with condos is the developer has to guarantee and warranty the project for 10 years. And almost every association, and I know this from the past, almost every association will sue the builder just before that 10 years comes up. Now, a lot of times it's superfluous stuff. It's because the cedar fence turned gray when the sprinklers hit it. And we want that fixed. Or it could be something serious. There was a big condo project down in the San Diego area a number of years ago that a couple of the buildings started to sink. They were put into fill, and so it was a serious matter, and that was a serious suit to do. So, but almost every project will sue over something, and that's one of the things that builders fear. But I think there's a way to do condos. We only have like 15 to 20 condos for sale at any one time in the city of Riverside compared to 200 homes or more. So, and that's the way you get people into the market, right? They buy a condo, they move up. A lot of people have. I know Brian did, originally owned a condo, moved up to single family. So that's an option that's out there, and there's a lot of articles about that. So that's the type of research we're going to have to do in order to be able to go to the city council and back to Michelle and others and say, look, here's what the market says is the most logical thing to put there. That's going to enhance the area. Yeah.
The last I read was Fannie and Freddie had significantly pulled out from funding those projects. So I think that might be a big piece of it.
Funding that project?
Yeah, condo projects, yeah.
Oh, condo project.
Yeah.
You know, and that really gets me because Fannie and Freddie now will do condo hotels, what we used to call them, where you're basically buying them to rent them out by the week, right? Those were called condo hotels. They used to have a lot of them in Hawaii, and Fannie and Freddie refused to loan on them. You couldn't sell a loan to Fannie and Freddie if it was a condo hotel. Now they'll actually do loans on those because of all the drive for all the, the properties that people want to rent out, and now they're backing off on condos. So there's some reason for that. We've got to get to the bottom of it. So other meetings that we're going to attend this month, there's the Vehicle Miles Traveled meeting that the city's putting on. Now, Vehicle Miles Traveled is a new thing that they've given this technical name to, which basically means they want to start taxing you for how many miles you drive. That's the bottom line. So they're having a meeting to talk about this vehicle miles travel. They're using it a lot of times to say, no, we're really using this to determine how much people drive and where they drive to so that we can better configure the city and so on. But there's been talk all over. In fact, there's 6 or 7 states that are already put the tax in place. So they're going to tax you for how many miles you drive. The Sci-Fi Networks is a fiber optics company that came to the city a couple of years ago and said, we will put fiber optics in the street and hook everyone up to fiber optics for free. We'll get federal money and we'll hook it up for free. And so they're doing it in a number of cities, including Riverside, but they haven't started and gotten very far, and it's already been 2 years. And they have a couple of lawsuits from other cities where they had trouble putting it in. They didn't do it very well. They pulled up concrete and then put down asphalt and, that kind of stuff. So we're going to that meeting. The MBT meeting is coming up this Sunday, where the city council candidates for wards 1, 3, 5, and 7, well, 1, 3, and 5, 7 doesn't have a challenger, are going to speak. And the Riverside Neighborhood Partnership will be at that meeting the 1st of January. Future meetings for our group is the Mayor Coffee thing is tomorrow, of those of you that want to go. We're going to be there. We're going to have the apartment subcommittee meeting on the 20th, the first one. Anyone that wants to be on that, we're going to send out an invite. Please respond to be on that. The steering committee will meet January 3rd, and we'll have our next meeting here on January 10th. We're inviting the candidates for county supervisor for our area, which is District 1. Yeah.
Can I make a quick comment? December 20th is also the scheduled Safety, Wellness, and Youth Committee meeting. And that has Chuck Honder, Gabby Placencia, and Jim Perry on it. One of the items, the major item, is that they are considering, RPD has had their 2 helicopters replaced with new H-125 modern helicopters. So now they're trying to decide what to do with the old MD-500 airframes, the old helicopters we used to see running around. So those helicopters right now are estimated to have a secondary market value somewhere between $800,000 and $1 million. Someone in the Sister Cities community, I won't name names, thought it would be a great idea that, hey, why don't we just give one of these helicopter frames to the city of Ensenada? Okay, so that's up for conversation at that meeting. I've already submitted a letter in contravention to that. I suggest other people do the same. Please send it in. This is not money to be given away by the city council or any committee. This is taxpayer funds, Measure Z funds paid for these helicopters. This money needs to be recouped and put back into the general fund. So if anybody could go ahead and send letters in to comment on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, the original agreement was, when they bought those helicopters, was that they would be selling those two to help make up some of the costs.
Correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back on the VMT, I would suggest that everybody go home and look up a program started by WEF, the World Economic Forum. They have a program that is scheduled to be completed on their timetable by 2030, in which they want worldwide for it to be almost illegal for you to leave your area. Their concept is called the 15-minute city. And a 15-minute city is where the government will require every community to have everything that they think the community needs. And so if you leave your area, you'll have to leave your area with permission. And it won't be permission like, can I leave my area? It will be, if you go outside of the 15-minute walking area, whether it be walking or car, you will be taxed. You will have to pay an additional fine for leaving your area. This is an attack on our personal freedoms. This is the first salvo. This is the first step. And there are a couple of other things that they've already got in place to help facilitate this. So it's something I think everybody should learn about. And I think this is something we should fight, because nobody likes talking about the slippery slope, but there is a slippery slope, and we're at the top of it, and we're about to start sliding down. So learn about this vehicle miles traveled, and learn how it can actually hurt you in the long run and what it can lead to. They're doing it one step at a time.
The VMT is being discussed at the state level as well. The VMT is also being discussed at the state level,
No, it's a national thing.
but right now it's being discussed at the state level.
Every country in the world is moving towards this. And it's the people in the web that they're not elected. They are all members of large corporations. They are all members of the financial community. And they have decided that since they control the money, they can control government through the money. And what they're doing is they are enlisting all of the young politicians and all of the young executives in most of the major corporations. They invite them to their forum where they indoctrinate them and lead them in this direction, so that eventually their motto is, and I know some of you have heard this, but please look it up if you don't believe me. Their motto is, by 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Well, happy, I'm looking forward to it.
Hi, I have a quick question. Have you asked the development company for another follow-on meeting yet?
No.
Do you intend to? I mean,
Yeah, we intend to, once we
well,
get.
I wanted to point out to you that when I talked to the city, the developer said they had will serve letters. They have no such letters from the electricity, from the gas, from the water companies. There is no will serve letters issued yet. So they sort of misspoke when they said that. And what I did find out is the utility companies in parts of the city had very little to do with the approval of those apartments. They all do what the planning department tells them to do.
Right.
So the planning department is the one that puts the major emphasis in getting this sold to the council and approved.
Right.
And I wanted to say one more thing about the water district. We have a meeting with them next week to talk about their underruns that they've encountered for the last year, and they're not investing it back for the people who pay the bill. And you've asked some questions about how can we get back up to the Secret Riverside good graces to use their water.
Right, yeah, we're gonna ask those questions too. Okay, speakers next year, we're gonna have the supervisors hopefully in January. We've got the Riverside County Sheriff, Bianco, in February. We're gonna have the fire chief. We're gonna get the city clerk in here so we can better understand how things operate exactly within the city and how they do certain things. So we're looking forward to that. Events, we're looking at setting up a paper shredding day. Everybody's got stuff they need to shred it, so we'll set up with a company to do paper shredding. The elections, we're gonna do ballot harvesting. The Register of Voters has agreed to give us a tour of how it works. So we're gonna be doing a tour. And we talked about the CERT training. Several people have asked about doing firearms training, and the city will sponsor a movie night. So when we get closer to summer and the hot weather, we can pick one of the schools and sit out on the lawn and have movies, and they'll provide the screen and all the stuff. We just have to provide the movie.
I'd like to make a motion that we combine the firearms training with the Registrar of Voters tour.
Duly noted. Okay, so now our raffle. We got a whole bunch of things to give away.
Yeah, well, we had a couple people leave, so I think everyone gets a gift. Jessica, we're gonna let you. Maybe get your votes or maybe.
Yes, right.
So what's up first?
All right, and we're
Ryan's
gonna
got a
donate a
pick.
couple shirts as well for my campaign. Do you want me to just give them to you now?
Where's the light switch?
We'll turn the lights up.
Are we picking like a?
All right, the first one's Victoria Dry Cleaners on Barton Center, $25.
All right, and the lucky winner is last three 073. Got a winner? 073. We got a winner.
Okay, this was donated by Gail and Don. $50 gift certificate to the Nordstrom Rack.
Ooh. And the lucky winner is 102. 102.
Okay, next that is the man who was. You can't win.
088.
And she's the one that only came because she was bored at home and thought she could come here.
Yes, let me pick a number.
Okay, we'll give away the shirt.
Kathy,
So we're
take
gonna
pictures.
give away a shirt for my campaign. All right, and the lucky winner is 083. Woo!
That shirt will be worth a lot of money. I still have a Goldwater pencil.
All right, you ready to do the next one?
Yeah, okay, now this one is everyone's favorite. 1 month of unlimited car washes at Quick Quack.
Ooh. And the winner is 085. 085.
Got a quacker over here.
So, to tell you a little bit about the way corporate world works today, if you want to call somebody anywhere, you can call their number, but good luck talking to anyone.
Thank you.
I called and called and called Quick Quack and Superstar that's going in down the street. And you could call their number and they would just refer you back to the website. Or I actually got a gentleman at Quick Quack and he says, I said, well, I'd like to talk to the marketing department. He said, they don't have a phone number. I said, are you listening to yourself? You're telling me that the marketing department doesn't have a phone number. He says, that's right. I said, so how do you get a hold of them? Well, I have their personal emails. I can email them, but you can't. I said, well, can you send them an email on my behalf? No, I can't do that. So I spent about an hour trying to find email addresses for both of those companies, and finally had to guess as to how the names were done, right? First initial, last name, and so on. Finally sent emails to both presidents. And I got responses right away.
How do you know it was really from them?
I don't, but we got the passes, so hopefully they're gonna work.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go a little quicker, they're turning the lights out.
Oh, okay. So next one?
Yeah, next one is from Corbin Builders, the $30 Stater Brothers card.
Ooh, 072. 072. 072?
There we go.
Awesome. Congratulations. Okay.
1 month of LA Fitness.
093.
That's right here.
093. Oh.
You can do another drawing.
I'm not going to the gym. I'm not going to one.
Put numbers back in there. Put it back in there. Put it back in there.
They won't let me in there anymore.
They won't let you in there.
That's why he won't pass the background check.
All right, so instead of his
Well,
one.
Duffy, do you want a car wash?
I'll take a car wash.
You want one?
Don't let me in the car wash.
This is for the Superstar Car Wash. That's the new one on Alessandro. It's a Super Protect Wash.
Okay,
Our wash is always good, right?
Okay, so we still have the LA Fitness.
Take it out.
Yes.
Okay, next one.
And so the next one's going to be LA Fitness, 106. Yeah, oh, there we go. We got one over here.
All right. Go ahead and pick another one.
We'll bring it over.
And give us, this is from Rich Irwin, Hot Stuff Sports. It's a surfboard for San Diego curl on it.
087. 087. You got it? Oh, we got it over here. You get a mini suit for your cat. Well, it's small enough for a cat.
Right here, this next young lady right there.
Perfect. Skimboard for a cat.
Is that While you help me out. I'm gonna give away another one of my shirts. 078. 078.
In the
You
back.
got it?
2 movie tickets to Galaxy Theaters.
All right, that's gonna be 082. There you go.
I gotta give you the caveat. We've been bugging them and they gave us the tickets. Gotta use it by the 31st.
We got 2 weeks.
And they're playing a lot of reruns.
Pow Thai Restaurant.
Oh, yeah. 103. I love it. We were all talking about
No,
that.
that's us.
103, that was you? Oh. All right. 080. There we go. Oh, that's the lucky table, huh? I do
Okay, Angelique's Forest in Barton Center. $25
107. Right here. Woo! We got one over here.
At Chili's, $20 gift cards.
089.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now I know why you don't take her out much.
There goes your Saturday.
Okay, what's the next one?
I'm running. I don't need
You have some track shoes.
How about I'll say the number and then you'll tell me.
Oh, actually, you're still moving.
0.
$30 Sprouts card.
092.
Again,
092. That's you?
and again, another drop down for $20.
081. There we $20 right there. Any more prices?
All right, this is Canyon Crest Country Club donated a foursome, one round to go.
Ooh, that's good. 098.
Oh, that's me.
Yay, ready? We got up in there.
Another $25 coupon from Victoria Cleaners.
112. 112. 112. No? No takers? 104. 104. Ah, you want something good.
Okay.
Okay.
Cactus Cantina, who's that?
Oh, that's for cactus? Oh, there you go.
There you go. See, you came in there and you got free marks.
Car wash at Superstar and Quick Way.
090. Car wash. 090.
It's him, not me.
And what's the next one?
Quick Way car wash.
086. 086.
Over here.
Okay, this is a universal therapy ice wrap.
091.
Those aches and pains.
091.
It's right here.
You don't want it?
She says she's cold in that car wash? So it's hot or